There are multiple business funding sources that you can take a look at, and the one that I would really like to have you consider here today, which most people don't think about, is alternative lending. So I am going to, with that, stop my share and introduce my partner, Ty Talbot. Super excited that you're here today, Ty, and looking forward to what you have to share here.
Yeah,
so
Greg,
it's all yours.
I really appreciate that. We're excited to be a part of your team, and like you said, I can't reiterate enough. We've got a handful of clients right now doing e-commerce, and it's just been insane since COVID, how crazy the e-commerce world has gone. So it's a very, very exciting time for you and your group there. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and jump into a little bit of a funding presentation here so that you guys can all get a better idea of what we do. Greg, it looks like I need the approval from you. Oh, I just need to be made a host instead of attendee.
See if that works for you.
Okay. There we go. Okay, perfect. Now, as we dive into things, I love this quote. This is probably my second favorite quote next to the one you already shared about making money in your sleep, which I often use that quote. So I'm glad in this case I changed it up. But money is a terrible master, but an excellent servant. Okay, let's think about that for a minute. Money is a terrible master, but an excellent servant. I'm sure all of us here can agree, and I'm sure all of us at some point in our life, maybe currently, have been a servant to our money, having to just work and work and work for pennies. I can tell you right now, it is a lot more fun to let your money work for you. Let your money be your servant, not the other way around. Now, as we think about this like a business, especially an online business, we have to know what we're doing, right? So how many of you would like to use what we call OPM, other people's money, with 0% interest to pay for things like coaching and mentors so that we know how to do things the right way and not have to go through costly mistakes? What about inventory? Okay, this is e-commerce. For the most of us, this is an inventory-driven business. And if we have to max out credit cards with 29.99% interest, it's going to be hard to make any money. Hey, what about softwares? How many of you would like to use other people's money and let that money work for you without paying any interest to purchase softwares? Or for many of us, we're business owners. We have expenses, and it's very, very common and very possible that maybe we already have high interest debt, and we just simply want to move that debt over to 0% interest so that we can actually afford to run and maintain our business. Well, that right there is why me and my business partner, Leo Cannell, came up and started putting into action what we call creative funding. Now, the way this creative funding model works, first and foremost, we need to know what the market is doing, what the lenders are doing. And we do have the underwriting systems down for over 100 different lenders. Okay, we're talking big banks, small little local credit unions, business lenders, whatever you can get, whatever funding options are out there on the market. And when a client comes in, first things first, we need to know everything about your credit, where you live, how old you are, who you have accounts with. Based on all these little factors, our underwriting team can shrink that list of 100 down to about 4, 5, 6 different lenders, depending how aggressive we want to be and how much capital we need. Now, once we have the 4 to 6 different lenders picked out, our system allows us to submit these applications simultaneously. Now, that's very, very important, because if we just went lender A today, wait to get a decision, and then we go lender B tomorrow, wait for a decision, and then the next day, well, guess what? We're going to start to get nothing but declines because lenders will see, hey, so-and-so just gave you something yesterday. I'm not going to give you something today. Okay, so these applications have to go out at the same time in one sitting. And by doing this, by going through this process, it looks very simple right there, right? We do the hard part. You will secure 60 to 80% more capital than if you just went out and blindly applied because Credit Karma told you to apply here. Well, Credit Karma just simply tells all of us to apply at the same place based on a credit score range because that's who's paying them the most money. Okay, we don't need to go to who Credit Karma is giving you or whoever is going to pay us the biggest kickback. We don't take kickbacks. We are going to go wherever you are going to get the most capital, which with an inventory driven business or a marketing and advertising driven business, think about this. What does 80% more capital do for you? I'm going to show you what 80% more capital does for you here in just a minute, but think about that for a minute because that is quite significant. Right? If you can go out and get $5,000 on your own, or you can get $40,000 through us, what does that do for your business? That's for you to decide. Now, why is it that we do revolving credit? Because that's our biggest form of funding, revolving credit. And I'm going to talk about what that is and why we use it, because people often say, oh, Ty, I just want a personal loan, just $30,000 put in my bank account one time. Great, fine. Well, here's why we do revolving credit. Number one, you get credit-based approvals, which means we don't need to provide income documentation. We don't need to put our truck on the line or our home on the line to get the revolving credit that we use. Again, a lot of us here are business owners. We're self-employed, which if oftentimes we're doing that strategically, we have a lot of tax deductions and write-offs. And so if we have to provide income in order to get funding, in all reality, maybe our business makes 200,000, but on paper it looks like we made 20 and no one's going to give you anything. Okay, term loans always require income. Revolving lines such as credit cards and 0% interest accounts simply make that decision based off of your credit rating and what's on your report. The second reason why I am a huge fan of revolving credit is you only pay on what you use, right? If I'm running an Amazon business and I knew I needed $20,000, I may not buy inventory for a few months. If I get a $20,000 loan, I have to make a payment on that next month. Even though I haven't bought any products, I haven't sold any products, I haven't made any money, I still have to make a payment on that every single month. Whereas if I get $20,000 available in a line of credit or a credit card that's revolving, that money just sits there until I'm ready to buy inventory and start to make sales. And then I start making payments because I actually spent it. So you only make payments on what you use, and the payments are very, very low. A typical credit card, for a minimum payment, you're only going to be required to pay about 1% to 2% of your balance, which, as you can see on the slide here, if our balance is $10,000, that's $100 to $200 a month. That's it, just to maintain the good credit standing. The third reason why I like revolving credit is because it is open-ended. It's open for the life of the business, right? I can buy inventory and sell it and buy it and sell it over and over and over. Whereas with a loan, if it's a 3-year term or a 5-year term, once I've paid that back, that money's gone. I can't continue to draw from it. I have to go open a brand new loan and start over, right? It's a headache. It's a headache. Whereas these open-ended lines of credit or credit cards, you can just use over and over as you need. Okay. The fourth reason is there is no such thing as a loan, whether it's personal or business, with 0% interest for even a month or 2 months. Okay, there's cards we have right now that we can get you 0% interest for actually 20 months. The vast majority are doing 15 months, but worst case scenario, which is still fantastic, worst case scenario, 12 months of no interest. There are a lot, I mean, you can sell a lot of products in 12 months and have all of that profit come back to you because you're not paying any interest. And then the fifth reason is the cashback, the bonuses, the points. Okay, now you use that as you will. Me personally, I run an Amazon business. And when I get cash back and bonuses and points, that goes right into more inventory. And anything I make on that, that's a bonus. That's money right back in my pocket. My business partner, Leo, of course, we're in Utah here. He's got 5 kids. He was able to purchase all of their Christmas gifts, the entire Christmas, just off cash back and points from our business spending this last year. Okay? Loans do not give you money back. If you go get a business loan, they're not going to pay you to use it. Okay? Whereas revolving lines such as credit cards, you actually get paid, you get bonuses to use those cards. Okay? Now, obviously, when we're going and getting money, we're going and getting something more than a few $1,000s, right? Say we're getting 20,000, 30,000. It can be scary, right? If you aren't a little nervous, I think you are a robot. That's okay. It's new for a lot of us. It's scary for a lot of us, but we need to start thinking like a business owner and not a consumer. Okay, we're not going out and buying a couch on a credit card. We're putting money into a business, which means we need to understand the difference between personal debt and business debt. Okay, with personal debt, we're taking on a debt with no expectation of a greater return. You know, maybe the new TV makes you feel good. Maybe the new couch makes you feel good, but you're not going to get a return. You're not going to make any money because of that. Okay, that would be considered a bad debt. Scenarios like that, I would put on a credit card only if you're going to pay that credit card off the next month. So get the free money, get the bonuses. But we're not trying to carry a balance on a new TV. Now, business debt is significantly different. Business debt is taking on debt with an expectation of a greater return. Obviously, it's still scary. We can't guarantee a return. Nobody can guarantee a return, right? That's impossible. But as a business owner, we need to educate ourselves and make those educated business decisions. Will this debt bring a greater return? If you believe that answer is yes, then that is a good debt. Okay, there's a couple examples right beneath where it says good debt of companies that took on debt early on, and that company on the left, if you've ever heard of Under Armour, which I hope you all have heard of Under Armour, they actually started and they are in business today because of the creative finance business model that we're talking about today. They used 0% interest credit cards to stay afloat and to actually get this business launched for the first couple years. Now, like I said, I'll bring this up later in this webinar. I'm bringing it up right now when we talk about what does 60% or 70% or 80% more funding mean for me and my business. Well, here's an idea. I put this graph together here. In this first graph that I'm going to show you, we're just assuming a 15% return. Obviously, sometimes it'll be 30, 80, 100, 200. Sometimes it'll be 10. For this graph, I'm assuming a 15% return on our inventory, 15% profit. Now this graph right here, we put $2,000 into inventory. That's it. Nothing crazy, $2,000. And all we did is every month, we put that money that we made back into more inventory. Month after month after month, we did the same thing. Now that $2,000 at the end of 1 year is worth $8,701. Which if you took that number to someone on Wall Street and said, I turned 2,000 into 8,700, they're going to offer you a job and they're going to be floored. However, we're not trying to build a business to make $8,700. And maybe you are, maybe that's life-changing for you. And if it is, that's okay. If that's the kind of business you want, that's okay. Take the $2,000 and go build that business. I'm your biggest fan, by all means. However, for those of us that want more than that, we want to grow bigger than that, we want to scale quicker than that, I do the exact same thing here, 15%. But now maybe we went and got a little bit of funding, some 0% interest cards, and we put $15,000 into inventory. Well, that $15,000 is now worth $65,253. Same thing, just putting the profits right back in. Now you can only imagine if we did 25,000 or 45,000 or we put 15,000 across multiple stores and multiple websites and multiple businesses. Okay, but it would not happen if we didn't have the capital. Now, I'm going to give you all a few reasons right here why I think every single one of you should at least see what you qualify for, at least get pre-qualified. Reason number one, and this is always the big question, and even though I'm going to repeat this a million times, I'll still get a bunch of questions at the end about this answer right here. No, this is not a hard pull. This will not hurt your credit. This will not show up on your credit report. That would go against every single thing that we teach if we were going to put an inquiry on your credit just to see what you qualify for. Okay? Reason number one, why I think you should get pre-qualified, it will not hurt your credit. It will not impact your credit. It will not change anything with your credit as it stands right now. Number two, I want you to see how much funding you can receive. Sometimes we don't start to think like a business owner. We don't start to think and visualize and start to picture what we actually can do with this business until the financial side actually becomes a reality. I may be very, very narrow-minded because all I have is $1,000 hiding under my mattress. Well, now I know I can qualify for 50,000. I start to think and visualize what I can actually do as a business owner. You don't have to take the money. You don't have to use the money, but see what you can qualify for. Okay. The third reason, I promise you right now, not every single person watching this is going to qualify right now. That's okay. That is okay. I've done this long enough to know that over half of us won't qualify right now. That is not a problem, but that doesn't mean we tuck our tail in between our legs and call it quits. That means we step up as a business owner and we do something about it. I want to go over credit repair solutions with you. I want to talk to you about what's on your report and how we can fix that. Okay, if it's not credit repair, maybe it's paying debt down, whatever that needs to be. That's my last reason here. I want you to strategize with a credit expert. Whether you're talking with me or Leo or Nate or Ben or Austin, we have a full team in here of credit experts that would love to sit down, analyze your report with you, and if nothing more, at least teach you a little bit about credit and how it works. Now, to start the application process, I'm actually gonna slow down, and I want you all to do this with me in real time as we go through this. So go ahead, open up another tab right now on your computer, and you see up at the top of my slide, for some reason you actually have to type, and Greg, you can probably help me with this, but you have to type www. If you just go sevenfigures.app/webstores, it won't work. So type www.sevenfigures.app/webstores.
And just to mention there, the link that I gave earlier there, if you go to webstoreslimited.com/funding, it takes you to this page as well.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, so either way, just make sure you get there and you know you're there when you see this page. And as you get to this page, I know it's going to take a couple minutes to fill out. All this first page does is puts you in my system so that my team can actually connect with you. This first page does not pull your credit report. It does not hurt your credit. It does not do anything other than put you in our system. So even if you get behind, you get lost, you get stuck, as long as you fill out this first page and you click submit, I'll have the ability to help you. Okay, and I am going to go through this a second time at the end just to make sure if you did fall behind that we go through it again. But take your time and get this first page filled out. Okay, now as you're filling out, a couple questions that we typically will get on this first page where it says address, make sure you put in your physical address or the address that would match whatever's on your credit report. Okay, that has to be the address matched to your credit report. And then where it says SPC password down at the bottom, this is a password that you're going to create here in a few minutes. So look at the rules. I've shared them right here. It's got to be between 8 and 64 characters, and it must contain at least 3 of the 4, either one uppercase letter, one lowercase letter, at least a number, one number, and at least one special character. Okay. So that password is really important because we're going to create that here in a minute. And that's what's going to allow us to actually go in and underwrite and tell you what we can do to help you. So we'll just wait a few more seconds here to let you guys go ahead and get this first page filled out, and then we will continue on. Okay. And another question I will frequently get, we'll open to questions here at the end, but usually the questions that come flying in right as we're on this page is, you know, I'm married, or I have a business partner. Can we both fill it out? You should absolutely both go through this exact same process. Maybe one of you has better history. One of you has better accounts. Let's see what both of you can qualify for and then make that decision from there. You can both go through the process, or one of you can go through the process, but let's see what we qualify for so we can get our very best options and get you the most and best money possible. Okay. Now, once you click submit, and I'm sure a few of you have already gone to this next page, you're going to see a page that looks like this. And what we're going to do right there, it says use discount code 29, and we're actually going to give you our entire soft pull credit software. I'm going to explain what this is before you do anything with it, but we're giving that to you literally for 97 cents for the first month. After the first month, if you don't like it, you don't want it, you can cancel it. We're literally giving it to you for less than you can get a cheeseburger at McDonald's nowadays, 97 cents. And if that's going to shy you away from seeing what you can qualify for with funding, we need to sit down. We've probably got bigger issues with the business we need to resolve. Okay, but go ahead and click receive your credit report now. And that's going to bring you to our company. It's our own service called Soft Pull Credit. Now, Soft Pull Credit is something that we built and is actually backed and powered by Experian.com. Experian is one of the 3 major credit bureaus. It is the biggest credit bureau, and it is by far the most accurate and the best credit bureau. It is not Equifax, okay? A lot of times I say, weren't they just breached? No, that was Equifax. Experian by far is the best. They have an awesome platform, and Experian backs everything that we do with soft pull credit. It's all of their systems, their processes, so you can feel confident that your information is just as safe as if you were going directly to the credit bureau themselves. Okay, so go ahead, once you get to soft pull credit, as you're filling this out, I'm going to explain what soft pull credit does and how it works. So before you pay the 97 cents, I'll explain that. But at the very bottom of this page, you see it says coupon code. You've got to put it in all caps, discount 29. When you put in discount 29, it's going to take $29 off, and it will only charge 97 cents. Okay. A lot of you, it's going to, as you click apply or you click submit, it's going to pop up with some security questions powered by Experian. Take your time and answer those correctly. You don't want to get booted out of that. So take your time, answer those questions. As you're filling this out, I'm going to explain what soft pull credit is and how it works. Okay. Soft pull credit is a full on, not just credit monitoring and credit protection, but also an identity theft insurance policy for you. Right? When we think about this and we think about what we do in this life, we insure our cars, we insure our homes, we insure our health, our life, sometimes our boats. Why on earth would we not insure our identity? Our identity is arguably worth more than any of that, but very, very few people actually insure it. Now, if you don't want to do the soft pull credit and you just pay the 97 cents and cancel, that is totally fine. We are never, ever, ever going to try and tell you that's silly, don't do that, that's dumb. But with soft pull credit, you are given a $1 million insurance policy that covers up to 10 email addresses if any get hacked, anything gets stolen. Your social security number, up to 10 phone numbers, up to 10 credit and debit cards, up to 10 bank accounts, driver's license, passport, store membership cards, anything tied to your identity, you have a $1 million insurance policy. Okay. You are given what's called lost wallet service. Again, this is also powered by Experian, but any of these items you see on the screen here, the credit cards, the checkbooks, anything that you may have in your wallet, If you lose that wallet, and I've lost my wallet, I'm sure all of us have lost our wallet. It is a very gut-wrenching feeling. What was in my wallet? Who do I need to call? What do I need to cancel? Well, guess what? You call that one phone number you see at the bottom right of that screen there. You say, hey, I lost my wallet. Here's what potentially could have been in there. And they handle that all for you. They call the card companies. They report the IDs as stolen. They handle all of that. You get to sit back and relax. And even if something does get stolen, guess what? You have that insurance policy to get it reverted right back to the way it was. Okay? You get social media protection. That $1 million policy covers your social media, which, you guys, we're starting an online business. Many of us really depend on that social media presence. It would be terrible if someone got into that account and messaged everyone or said, hey, I'm in trouble, or my son's stuck here. Can you send him $50 for gas? Here's his Venmo. Things happen on Facebook every single day. They happen on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. All of these social media platforms are protected. And then the last thing is we give you score simulators. Okay? And these are real numbers. These aren't guesses. Because this comes directly from Experian, we know, for instance, this specific report, if they did that first suggestion on the left, their score goes up 20 points. If they don't handle things correctly and they do that top thing on the right, their score goes down 20 points. So if we're trying to go through some funding, or we're trying to buy a home or a car, and we know our score needs to be at X amount, then we know exactly what we need to do to get it there. Okay? So there's obviously many more things inside of soft pull credit. And once your account's set up, get in there, browse through it, experiment a little bit. It's very, very unique. It's significantly more than just credit monitoring. A lot of these free services are just credit monitoring. They can say, hey, your identity was stolen. Now what? Okay, this will tell us, hey, the identity's stolen. Here's what happened. Here's why it happened. Here's the course of action. We're going to get it taken care of. Here's the money back that was taken. There's a lot of peace of mind that comes with that. Nonetheless, today is about getting funding for the business. So hopefully, as I went through that, most of us completed that final step of soft pull credit. Once that account's created, you click submit on the first page we looked at. Give our underwriting a little bit of time. Give them 30, 40, 50 minutes. Get your pre-approval done, and then look for an email. Okay, you will get an email and a text message that will show you exactly what the pre-approval looks like, if you have multiple options, and it will go over the next steps. You will also all have the opportunity to schedule a time to meet with me or Nate or Ben to actually sit down and review your pre-approval. Now, we love bonuses. We love incentives. And any of you that submit this application within the next 24 hours, we are going to send you a digital copy of our book, The Business Funding Formulas. Now, this is a book that my business partner, Leo Cannell, wrote. He's been doing this well over 15 years. He's worked with some very, very influential business leaders. As you can see in these photos right here, he covers everything in this book here, from building and establishing personal credit from the very get-go to building and establishing paydex scores and getting six-figure business loans, start to finish, exactly the formula that you need to follow to get the best funding that you can qualify for. So anybody that submits that application, you don't have to move forward with funding whatsoever, but you simply apply and we're going to send you a digital copy of our book. Now, anybody, as you're going through this, some of you are still probably caught up on step 2. Maybe you're still filling it out, answering questions. I just want to open up for a couple minutes here. Greg, even if you have some questions or anything you want me to clarify, I want to open up for a minute or two and just go over some questions while you all are still filling things out.
That sounds awesome. We did have a question in here. Where do you get the code? And I'm not sure. I think that may be before you got to the discount 29 code.
Okay.
So I suspect that's what that was.
Okay.
So one of the things I just want to clarify here is that once you get approved for this, you can get, you can use the money for anything at all. You can use it for signing up for the Monetize Your Expertise course. You can use it for inventory. You can use it for marketing purposes, buy Facebook ads, anything that is business related whatsoever.
Absolutely. We typically will, not typically, we always, with every client, will go through a consult of how we suggest they use the funding and different things that you can use the funding for. Essentially, these are open-ended revolving lines of credit, such as cards. So you can use it for anything, but we like to allocate certain cards. For instance, this one is used to sign up for your coach, your mentorship, your programs. This one, you're already paying your cell phone bill anyway. You may as well get some cash back because that's now a business expense. Your internet bill, that's a business expense. Put them on these cards and get some cash back. You go out to dinner, same thing, use these cards and then pay these cards back as the business generates and produces revenue. But you can absolutely use it for anything.
Okay, so these are like a credit card that you get then.
Yeah, typically starting out, when you look at that capital ladder, which you showed, which is awesome. I love that graphic that you shared there. Typically, as a brand new business, the best type of funding that you can get is going to be credit cards, both personal and business. We'll call it a blended round of funding. And then as the business starts to produce revenue, you start to build some business credit, which we teach all of our clients. You slowly work up that capital ladder and start to get more traditional business funding options.
Yeah, I think one of the things that is really kind of scary for most people starting any kind of business, especially an online one, I guess, is that you look at these normal sources of funding of, oh, I'm going to go ask my family and friends for money, or I'm going to, try to get an angel investor, and you spend years trying to find somebody that's willing to invest in your business and nobody will. It's not easy. And
Yeah.
and what Seven Figures Funding does here is absolutely the right way to go when you're trying to start or grow a business.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I agree. I mean, getting an angel investor period right now is hard enough as it is and near impossible. And I can tell you absolutely running a business is hard enough and scary enough as is, to let alone have to sit and think and stress all day long about how I'm going to pay my mother-in-law back. Or if I don't do this right and I did it on a HELOC, my house is gone. Whereas unsecured revolving lines of credit, worst case scenario, yes, a collection shows up and it hurts your credit score a little bit. But guess what? Sunday dinners at your in-laws are not going to be awkward for the next 10 years now. And you're not going to lose your home because of it. Okay. Now, obviously, that's the only time I ever talk about what if on the negative side. But that does, you're right, Greg, that offers a lot of peace of mind and comfort and allows you to just focus on your business, not how I'm going to have to pay back my brother. Okay. Now, the next thing that I do want to cover just for a few minutes, and again, this is no pressure at all. Obviously, you can see with the price point here, it's not really for us to benefit. It's to help you. It's to help this community, and it's to honestly educate as many people as we can on how credit works and how it can be cleaned up and repaired. We've spent many years drafting up and changing and editing and putting together what we call Credit College. Now, Credit College is something we actually are now to the point we offer this to all of our clients for $97. And what Credit College does is as you can see on the screen, we've got a handful of chapters here that cover categories such as repairing your credit, how to repair something that's identity theft or just inquiries or collections, how we can dispute online, how the credit scores are calculated, what a FICO score is, what a Vantage score is, and how I read these scores. Okay, everything that we know, all the knowledge that we've accumulated, we've put into this online platform and education system that you can go through. A lot of our clients honestly purchase this just simply so their children can go through it, because not a lot of people are teaching us about how credit actually works. So like I said, typically it is $97, but if you're someone that knows for a fact you need to repair your credit, you need to clean your credit up, you need to get that score up, there's no sense in going and paying $100 a month or $200 a month to have someone send letter templates out for you. We're offering it today for $10. That's nothing. It will give you the Credit College. It'll show you exactly what these companies that are doing the credit repair are doing, and it'll allow you to do it yourself. No pressure whatsoever, but anyone that does want to do it, you want your lifetime access to Credit College, simply go to thesmartcredit.com, www.thesmartcredit.com. You'll see right there, it's now only $10. As soon as you check out, it'll have you log right in, go through it, have fun with it, teach your children, teach your business partners, teach your team. I want as many people in this world as possible to be educated on credit and how it works, because there's a lot of misconceptions. Now, to recap, again, step one, we go www.sevenfigures.app/web stores, or Greg also shared another link with you that will bring you directly to this page where you can submit. This first page is by far the most important page of this entire thing. This first page is what puts you in our system so that I can actually contact you and help you. Okay, take your time, get that filled out. Once you've filled that out, you're gonna click Receive Your Credit Report Now, and that's gonna take you to Soft Pull Credit. Soft Pull Credit is the system that we use to be able to do the underwriting. It's also the system that gives you the identity theft protection, the credit monitoring, the score simulators, among many other things. But again, if you use the coupon code discount29, discount has to be in all caps. It'll give you this for 97 cents. After the first month, if you like it, obviously you can tell by the way I talked about it earlier, I think everyone should protect their identity, but if it's not for you, or it's something that's just not in the budget right now, you cancel right online. You don't have to call anyone, you cancel right online, and you're never gonna be billed again. So again, you get your $1 million insurance policy, your lost wallet services, your social media protection, your score simulators. Once you've completed that, you're gonna get an email. It'll have your pre-approval in there, as well as the next steps and a link to schedule with me, Ty Talbot, or my other partners, Nate or Ben, and they can go ahead and review that credit file with you. So before I wrap things up, are there any other questions? Greg, is there anything else you want me to recap or go over here?
Yeah, there's a question that actually had somebody ask me before the webinar started here even.
Okay.
I was telling them about this, how they can get an unsecured line of credit at 0% interest for 12 to 18 months. And his question was, how can they do that?
Well, it's a matter of there's obviously a lot of credit card companies out there, and we'll get some in the mail here and there that will say they'll do 0% as a promotion. And obviously these credit card companies are doing this with the hopes that you're going to carry a balance beyond that interest-free period. And then after that interest-free period, they'll start charging interest on whatever's still on that card moving forward. And, they're getting paid every time the card swipes. So they're definitely making money elsewhere. For us, for Seven Figures Funding, obviously, like I told you earlier in this call, we don't take kickbacks from lenders. We don't want that unfair bias. We don't want to have that ethical dilemma of, do I take them to who's going to give me the biggest kickback, or do I take them to where they're going to get the best money? So as part of not accepting any kickbacks, anything like that, we do have performance-based funding fees that come out once we actually get you the capital. And it's different based on how much you're going to be receiving, if you're qualified as is, or if we need to do some pay down. So it's a little bit different based on your file. That's why we go over that with everyone individually on these phone calls. But it's minuscule compared to what actually paying interest would cost you, or trying to do it on your own and only getting $5,000 as opposed to $30,000. I can assure you that is way more expensive than anything that we'd ever charge as a consulting fee. Yeah,
so it's a lot like, you try to go get new carpet for your home or whatever, and you go to Home Depot and they say, hey, we've got 0% interest for the first 12 months for the very reason they want you to not pay it off.
Exactly. They're just hoping to carry that balance longer, and they're all got the federal government backing them. So if you don't, they're okay anyways. But yeah, you're exactly right. They're just hoping you don't pay it off in time, and you just use it and swipe it a lot so they can make a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
The other thing, oh, go ahead. Did you have another question?
Got another question that popped up here. What if you want to start another company? Do you include your existing company info or personal information for the new business?
That really depends. See, I would suggest just starting fresh. We can do business credit cards in the business name if you already have an EIN. But if you're starting a brand new business, you're getting a brand new EIN, you're setting up a brand new LLC, and you're trying to get funding with that LLC day one, it's kind of like an 18-year-old that has never had any credit calls up American Express and says, I'd love a $10,000 credit card. It's just not going to happen. The best way to get business credit cards, almost every business credit card has a personal variation of that card. You just have to know what it is. So by starting with the personal variation of that card, building an entity, building an LLC, letting it age a little bit, and then 6 months later, we'll go in and we'll transition that to the business card at that point for you. Once it's on a business card, it doesn't report personally. You can max it out. It doesn't impact your credit whatsoever. But if we're using an old business, these cards will be in that old business name. It's kind of commingling, piercing corporate veils, and your CPA probably won't like that too much.
Okay. And how long does this whole process take? Like specifically, if someone wants to register for the Monetize Your Expertise course in a week and a half, is it going to happen before then, or do they need to find a different bridge in there?
Yeah. So if someone submitted today and we call it qualified as is, meaning all of their balances are lower than 45%. They have a good credit score. They qualify as is. Those cards will be showing up at your home within about 7 to 10 business days from today.
Very good.
But you'll have your pre-approval right now today.
Okay. And so just to let people know then, if that is the case and you don't have the cards in by the time the course starts, if you show us the pre-approval on this thing, we'll let you start the course and worry about collecting your money later.
Awesome, man. We'll help facilitate that, and we'll make sure that all of these cards will have cash back and bonuses. And typically, just by helping our clients purchase strategically right away, we can get you about $600 to $700 back in your pocket right away.
Great.
Okay. Any other questions?
I'm not seeing anything here.
Okay.
So I really appreciate your time here today, Ty. This was very enlightening, and I assume that any of the stuff that we talked about here today, we want you to do it now, obviously, but if you take a couple days to do this type thing, then the offers here basically are good through the time of when my course starts, and after that we'll start over.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, yeah, I look forward to obviously continuing to work with you, Greg, and then all of these clients and students. Again, feel free, even if you just want to do that first page, just so you can talk and ask more questions that you couldn't ask on here. Don't hesitate to do so. We take pride in also being an education company, not just a funding company. So we'd love to talk to all of you. Yeah,
maybe we'll have you on during the course of the course too, to sure. Go through some of this again when we're talking about doing inventory and marketing and so forth.
Absolutely. We'd love to join.
Sounds great.
Okay.
Well, let's see here. We got one other cute question here. Can you send the link to the course, please? Absolutely. The link to the course, for anybody that did not get it, if you just go to webstoreslimited.com/enroll now. The cart is got a soft open today. We're officially opening the cart this week. So you can go ahead and get registered now, which is actually a really good thing to do because the course tends to fill up since there's a lot of one-on-one time with me. We don't want you to miss out on that. So people that are listening right now, if you just go to webstoreslimited.com/enroll now, you can be an early bird and get in on that. And with that, I'll say thanks again, Ty. Been awesome, and appreciate everybody that was on here live.
Perfect. Thank you. We'll talk to you soon.
All right.